Hello, I'm Nick Barton, and this is Inside. For many years, Rupert Murdoch's media empire has been covering up the biggest hacking scandal in history. From politicians to celebrities being hacked, to even the sons and daughters of families who were killed in terrorist attacks and killed in conflict. In tonight's episode, we uncover the truth behind the allegations, and find out if Rupert Murdoch is really to blame. This is the story of Hackgate. News of the World was one of the biggest newspapers in the world. Founded in October 1843, it was bought by media tycoon Rupert Murdoch in 1969, and it was closed in July 2011. The newspaper was famous for its celebrity scoops and populist news, and had a reputation for exposing national celebrities as drug users and criminals. Setting up disguised journalists to acquire information, record with video and photographs, and phone hacking to complete an investigation. However, it's the phone hacking that circles News of the World today. Not just News of the World, but Rupert Murdoch and the ethics of the British media. The phone hacking scandal has raised so many questions regarding privacy, ethics and corruption, which makes it impossible to ignore the bigger picture.
No, I don't. I think the investigation is long overdue.
From what I've heard on the news, I think that what they did was right. So, no?
No, I don't. I think because it's so bad the way that they hacked people's phones, that they should have they did it at the right time.
Okay. Perhaps what began the downward spiral of News International was when, 2003, Rebecca Brooks, then known as Rebecca Wade, took the son of Andy Coulson's hands, who in turn took charge of News of the World. During this time, the suspicions of News of the World intercepting the murdered schoolgirl Millie Dowler's voicemail began to surface. Rebecca Brooks appeared at a parliamentary hearing and admitted that she was paying the police for protection. Today it's the very story that has captured the public's attention of News of the World phone hacking, and raised the questions regarding ethics within the media, and the ultimate question, is media too powerful?
Mixed bunch, I would say. I'd say that 95% maybe, yeah, have got morals and go about their daily business in a moral and ethical way. There are 5% though, like almost in any business, who want to get to the top, want to get to the story, and you would use not just phone hacking but any sort of I know you said trashy, but I mean going in people's bins and stuff like that. Any methods to get the story that they want to get. So I think most journalists are, or reporters are, but there's always a percentage that are not.
Not at all. I think they're like a pack of hyenas. They'll just chase on down their target, and it don't really matter what happens to them, as long as they can get their pictures and sell them, make their money.
Okay.
Some probably do, but I think an awful lot don't.
The allegations of phone hacking continued near the end of 2005. Future King Prince William found himself caught in the headlights when royal editor Clive Goodman posted an article in the News of the World newspaper that Prince William was planning on purchasing a portable editing suite from ITV royal correspondent Tom Bradby. In reaction to the leaked news, Prince William and Bradby met up to understand how the news had been leaked, as only two people were aware of it. Without any other logical explanation, Prince William and Tom Bradby had concluded that the voicemails were being intercepted. In response to the allegation, royal editor Clive Goodman and a private investigator Glenn Mulcair were arrested and charged for hacking the telephone numbers belonging to the members of the royal family. The court had also been told that Mulcair had also hacked the phones of Ellie Macpherson, Max Clifford, Skylar Andrew and Steve Coogan.
I have to say, I think you're a walking PR disaster for the tabloids because you don't come across in a sympathetic way.
In January 2011, the police reopened the investigation on the News of the World phone hacking after actress Sienna Miller, MP George Galloway and RMT union leader Bob Crow claimed their phones had been hacked. The police named their new investigation Operation Wheating. In response to the revelation, News of the World had dismissed its senior editor Ian Edmondson after an internal inquiry. As Operation Wheating begun, the police had made several arrests on suspicion of intercepting voice messages, which included James Weatherdup and Neville Philbeck.
I think it's a step too far because it's like your private phone. You don't want anyone to know anything.
It's one thing to be doing it to the government, because they do try and keep quite a lot from us.
I'm arguing a means to an end, that in this right circumstances, it's okay.
More and more claims of phone hacking were surfacing, but it was in the wake of the allegations of News of the World phone hacking the murdered Millie Dowler's phone that a significant number of people began to question if News of the World were indeed hacking phones. It was reported in The Guardian that private investigator Glenn Mulcair had collected information about the family of the missing schoolgirl Millie Dowler following her disappearance in March 2011. Messages were deleted, giving her family false hope that she may still be alive. It is argued that if this was not the case, and the evidence was brought into light sooner, it may have changed the tide of the investigation. In response to the claim, MST formed a campaign called Hacked Off, registering the website hackinginquiry.org, campaigning for a phone hacking inquiry. The campaign was supported by many followers such as Lord Fowler, John Prescott, and Helena Kennedy. Shortly after launch, the campaign gained the trust in another suspected hacking victim, Hugh Grant, who became a public spokesman and has been incredibly vocal in hacking allegations.
You know, we all know that the Prime Minister has been very much in bed with the Murdoch organisation, A, to get elected, and B, since election.
I just think that there has been a section of our press that has become allowed to become toxic over the last 20 or 30 years.
I think it's wrong because I can't see why they needed to do it.
I just think it's all a bit too far, really.
I think that they should just report on things that they know rather than going deeper.
Again, I think that's disgusting.
As long as they don't use the press to gain in their political career, then I think the press should leave them alone. If they use it, to forward their career, then I don't think they can moan when the press come after them.
The Daily Telegraph learns that the personal details of servicemen who died in conflict have been found in the files of Glenn Mulcair. This had prompted anger within military charities and families, and condemned the breach of privacy as a disgusting and indefensible assault on privacy. In addition to this, the Metropolitan Police had faced increased calls from families of those who were murdered, killed in natural disasters and terrorist attacks to confirm whether their details had been targeted. Fresh revelations had later surfaced that victims of a 7th of July London terrorist attacks had their phones hacked, one of which was a 28-year-old named Christian, whose mother Sheila Henry had left messages on her son's phone that same day. Meanwhile, the fathers of 2 victims had told the BBC that their contact details were put on a target list.
I think you've got to be careful of your sources, and I think you've got to, as a public, you can't just take one source as a given.
I think you've got to follow a certain code of ethics, haven't you?
If you overstep the line of dishonesty, when you could find the results by honest means, then I think that's when you're immoral.
In July 2011, the News of the World announced its closure. Its final edition was released with the front page headline, "Thank you and goodbye." Leaving behind 168 years in print, 57 years of experience, and a share of mistakes, Rupert Murdoch arrived in attendance with his son, James Murdoch, at Parliament to address his apology. As a result of the News of the World phone hacking, David Cameron announced to Parliament that a public inquiry was necessary to investigate the affair. Lord Justice Leveson was named the chairman of the inquiry to look into specific claims of phone hacking and to review the ethics of the British media. A large number of witnesses have been summoned to address their experiences with journalists and what they believe to be ethical errors within the media industry as far as reporting goes.
Myself, personally, I like to keep myself private.
Probable actions of what the kind of things that I knew they were up to at the time.
Sort of stand back and say, should we be doing this?
In a bizarre way, I felt slightly proud that I'd written something that created a riot and got a paediatrician.
News International sought to destroy my life.
So there we have it. We have heard from celebrities, journalists and the public. With over a decade of investigation, the British media's image certainly has been damaged. The press is well known for spreading tangled webs of lies to sell stories, but phone hacking took it over the line, and it breached their ethics and also the privacy of those that they hacked. There is no greater power than to hold somebody's identity. The power to surrender someone's bank accounts or mobile phone records is gold in many journalists' eyes. And it certainly was for Murdoch, since he profited from breaching both privacy and ethics of journalism. What do you think? Is Rupert Murdoch accountable for what he's done? Does the British media need more regulations? Is there more to uncover in this ever-expanding story? I'm Nick Barton, and this was Inside Hackgate.